Hey, good morning. This is Coach Mel. I am with Grow Better Life Coaching, Grow Better LLC. I'm a certified life empowerment coach, and I'm just learning this podcast system thing, and I'm kind of getting a feel for everything. So I'm doing a little pop-up podcasts. These on my way to work. I've been calling the morning ride because, well, I'm driving and it's in the morning. I got a new phone stand for my phone. For my car. And I really like it. It's got the little sticky suction cup on the back of it to be able to stick it to the windshield or dash. And it's got the little things to put on the dash to stick it to the dash, which is great. It's great. I love it. And I stuck it to my windshield this morning, and it was kind of a little bit too high. But this might work perfect as long as it records. I would like for it to, not be just the top of my head. So I'm headed to work this morning. It is Tuesday. Today is going to be a terrific Tuesday. The people I was working with yesterday, I typically work on Mondays and Wednesdays with somebody that does epidural injections. They, that's a little better. Yay, okay. They do the epidural injections. So I go on there Mondays, and since I help with the injections in the afternoons by calling people back, getting them ready for the actual procedure, I go ahead Monday morning, go to that office, and help prepare for it and help do the little odds and ends of the tedious everyday work. Well, the lady that I usually work with, she just filling in for the lady I usually work with. Her daughter is sick. So I'm going to be doing the whole show today, which is nothing much because I'm just calling back patients to be seen by a doctor. So I'm not like, ooh, it's me. I'm going to be running the show because it's not like that. I just do my job. Let's talk about boundaries at work. Okay. So I know yesterday I talked about boundaries and making a circle, putting what's extremely important in that circle and what's untouchable and this and that. You can go back to my YouTube from yesterday and check that out if you wish. Boundaries are something that you need to work with. So, boundaries at work. In order, it's really hard because you have to do certain things for your supervisor in order to continue to have a job. Now, the young lady that I'm talking about, she has children. She knows what she signed up for. That's my bag. She knows what she signed up for. When I got my job, I was told the specific requirements and expectations. Given a handbook, given access to a handbook online in my little e-file, computer e-file, which is great because if I have any questions, I can go to the handbook and I can also go to the supervisor, human resources, or my supervisor. And also that comes in handy when I need to know if I'm in the right about something. Now, if I'm in the right about something and I need to take a stand, I don't need to be afraid that I will lose my job or not being right. I'm not talking about being right. I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, if you know this way to do something and they tell you to do it their way, well, for one, they're paying you to do it their way. Therefore, you got to kind of, sit tight with it. But you do not have to stand for people talking to you any kind of way. You don't have to stand for rumors and gossip coming to you or talking about you. Now, yesterday, for instance, I was in work and then one girl, she tries to start a conversation about somebody else by really, really subtle ways. For instance, she said, oh, I talked to so-and-so and she asked how it was going since she's been out. And I told her it's been great. Everything's been going so smooth. It's been working perfect. Don't you think so, Melissa? I said, I really miss her. I didn't say, I said, well, I guess it's staying kind of on time, but the people miss her. I miss her. It's not, it's, but I know this lady was trying to get into a little gossip thingy going on. Was trying to get into, well, girl, yes. Since she's been gone, we've been on point. Man, it's gone so smooth. Girl, that's what she wanted. How do I know that's what she wanted? Because I've worked with her several times. And I know it. She always likes to hear, ooh, what's going on with the whole chaotic situation with this person and chaotic situation with that person. It doesn't stay with her, though. It doesn't stay as the chaotic situation with this person or that person that you're talking to her about. It goes on to other people. Oh, you know what? Melissa agrees. She said that things have been going so smooth. No, I did not. I said I miss her. I said, I guess, when I'm here, when I've been helping, it stayed pretty much on schedule, but it has nothing to do with her because on the other days it might not go smooth when there's not a second person. I don't know. I miss her. And that's, a boundary because I'm not going to get caught up in the chaos. I'm not going to get caught up in it. And that helps my serenity. My serenity is in my main circle. I need to make sure that is untouchable because it affects me mentally, emotionally, it drains me. It gets me to the point that I'm just really having a hard time. I get frustrated. I start getting paranoid, feel like people are talking about me. So I know what it leads to. Therefore, I've set a boundary and I don't cross it, nor do I let other people cross it. You can do your job and have boundaries at the same time at work. Let's think of another example. Let me see. You've made an appointment. You've already requested the off time. You've already got the appointment. Everything is amazing. You're on this doctor's appointment, whatever. Everything is wonderful. Nothing's been said about it. Then all of a sudden, oh, Melissa, really need you to come in. I need you to do this job for me. Okay, well, what do I do about my appointment now? Am I still going to be able to go? Do I need to reschedule since I have 24 hours to I have more than enough time to reschedule? Is that okay? Do I need to reschedule? Well, that's good. If you have plenty of time to reschedule and it's not significant, it's not like a serious appointment that you really need to get something done about now, it's fine to reschedule. If it's within a time that you may risk rescheduling me or things like that within a certain amount of time, then that's where you have the ability to say, hey, I already have this time off for an appointment. I'll need somebody to cover for me for that period of time. Or I have to leave at such and such time because I have this appointment scheduled and I can't cancel. It's too late to cancel. That's completely okay. It's okay to not be a doormat at work. It's okay to say no at work. You're doing 50 million things and somebody's like, hey, can you do this for me? Yes. When I get finished with what I'm doing right now, I'll do that for you. Or if there's more pressing, if their assignment that they're trying to get done with is more pressing than some of this stuff, you can easily say, hey, okay, let me get these 3 things out of the way because they're very significant, they're important, and then I'll do yours and my other stuff can wait. That's completely okay. As long as your mental health stays intact and you are able to focus on yourself and stay in a good place. Don't let people run over you at work. If anybody notices, I'm going to go ahead and eat my grapes. If you notice, the saying, give them an inch and they take a mile. Well, that's exactly what happens. If you let people continuously send you on doing this and doing that, if you let people take advantage of you a little bit, then they're going to continue. They're not going to realize, I'm not going to say that you are a gift, but they're not going to be considerate and respectful of you because you are now their new person. That's what you are. It doesn't mean you can't be willing to help out because that's a great skill, a great characteristic. Being willing to help out is one thing. That's fine. Know the difference between bullying and joking, and the difference between helping and enabling being pushed around. Grass is a little frosty this morning. I'll dry it out. That's okay. It's about to change seasons anyway. Know that people in your job also have boundaries. Know that if you need help with someone and someone helps you, then they're doing it and you should appreciate it. Don't take advantage of it. Don't overstep other people's boundaries. If you don't want somebody to do it to you, don't do it to them. It goes back to the old do unto others as you would have them do to you. It doesn't say do to others. And I know that's a scripture and not everybody is religious, but this is a really good statement to live by. It doesn't say do to others how they do you. If that was the case, then I would be a mean person with some people. Do to others as you wish for them to do to you. And also, after a continuous time of people pushing or bullying or treating you a way that is not appropriate, even if I don't mean they come up pushing you around physically. I don't mean they are verbally abusing you. But if they're using you, or if they're talking about you behind their back, but acting like they're okay with you in the front in your face, then it's okay to separate from them, but still work with them. All right. So what I'm saying is, you can have a business relationship with people, but not have a personal relationship with them. Just because you work with somebody does not mean that you and that person are friends. You might make some friends at work. You don't work to make friends. You work to make a paycheck. All right, remember that. You do not need those people. You got this far in your life before you started working there without them. Yes, many of them probably have added joy or experience or different little seasons, little enhancements to your life, and that's amazing. You may have made some friends, and that's amazing. The last job I worked at, it was like a little family business, basically. It was a doctor's office, but it was small, and it was mostly with the family in the lead positions there, which is fine. There were a couple of people that there was one person that I considered as somebody that I might have interaction with, like over the phone, message, or something like that, if I don't work there. I haven't, except for occasionally. Everybody else, nothing. Nothing at all. Some of them are on my Facebook, and I see them post stuff from time to time, but I can't find it to take them off of it. You're not my friend. You were a coworker. That was your relationship. Coworker. That's all. When you're no longer at that job, you're no longer a coworker. There is no longer a relationship. There's no relation between you and that person. If some friendships are formed, that's great. Stick to those. If they're like some really good friends or whatever, that's good. But the people that are consistently trying to be in your face, talking to you, know what's going on with you, good to see you, and asking about everything, but then you're out for 3 days, you don't hear from them, they're not your friend. They're your coworker. Know the difference between a coworker. I wouldn't even consider them an associate for the most part. Most of the people I work with are strictly coworkers. We may talk about some little ins and outs, a little personal stuff here and there. Not like personal, but like something that's going on in my life or something that's going on in their life. That's fine. Don't come to me with something that's going on in somebody else's life unless, it's out of genuine concern. And I pretty much can tell who is genuinely concerned. And if you come to me with something out of somebody else's life and it's not out of genuine concern and gossip, don't expect me to jump right in with a little chitter chatter. That's old. I'm 43, okay? 43 years old. I'm done with that. I don't need to talk about other people in order to entertain myself. I can entertain myself with my thoughts anytime I want to. That's all. These people are not bad people. They're not. They're just different. We just have different morals and motives and values. That's it. Everybody's different. So it doesn't mean they're bad people because they're trying to get me into a conversation. It means they're gossipy people, and I'm not, so I don't enjoy them and don't join in the conversation. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'm not going to say that I never bring up anybody or ever do this or never do that. I just try not to, especially when I consider the sources coming from. When it comes to your supervisor's not your friend. I've had a supervisor who some of the people at work were that supervisor's friend. They got treated differently. And that's not really acceptable. It's not. If you're a supervisor, you have a work relationship with people. Outside of work, you can be their friend, but while you're at work, everything needs to be equal with everybody that works there. I worked with a family member, and I really tried to set boundaries with that family member because I was always called on to do stuff. Finally, I had to say something. Why do you always call me? So they got somebody else to do something for them, and they were mad at me. Not like mad, but they were just kind of stuffy at me. Okay, I'm okay with that because my serenity is intact. Because what other people think of me is not my business. Um, Remember, you're there at work to make a paycheck, not friends. Friends don't pay your bills. Friends, friends don't. They don't give you a paycheck. I mean, if they do, that's great. Keep them. There's some good friends. Don't allow your social life to overpower your work life when it comes to on the job. You're there to work. You're there to do a job. And no matter who it is, even if your friend is your supervisor or your friend is your coworker, you think it's your friend, when it comes down to it, and when the shit hits the fan, you going under the bus. Take my word. Many of you have felt it, you've seen it, you've heard it, you've had it happen to you, and it ended what you thought were friendships, which they never were. It was a coworker. Don't put expectations on coworkers. Same way they don't need to put expectations on you. Set your boundaries at work. What are your boundaries at work? Okay, if you work in food service industry, all right, somebody is not going to ask you to manage the books. If they do, they need to pay you for managing the books, not working a cash register, which each job is equally as important. That's why I don't understand why people that work the books get paid different than people that run the cash register, because the cash register is really the one that is significant to the whole thing, because they're the ones that is the customer service, the expectations. They have the harder job. I need to put some chapstick on. Oh, sorry. Wrong button. When you are at work, don't let your boss send you in a million different ways unless that's the job you signed up for. I'm afloat, so I get sent in a million different ways. I get my schedule changed at the drop of a hat. Last week, my schedule was changed, but I had an appointment. I actually had two of them, and I was going to try to get to the first one a lot earlier so I could get in early and make it to the workout. I made the first one at the regular time I was supposed to be, but I wasn't able to get to the second one because my task for the day, my assignment changed. Okay, so I signed up for that. I did sign up for it. Yeah, they give you a schedule at the beginning of the week so you can kind of fix stuff around that schedule to try to or things of that nature. As a float, I was also told that my schedule can change whenever. Now, if I let her know I have an appointment and she already knew I had an appointment, then that doesn't, if I schedule it on my off time, then I really should be able to go to it. Office last patients come in at 2 o'clock. My appointment went till 2:40. I should be able to go and not have to stay later. I got there just at 2:40 and I worked 15 minutes away. Ended up having to stay later. But I said, do I need to call and reschedule my appointment? Or it was the day before. How do you want me to do this? I was available to reschedule because that's my job and I have plenty of time. But I needed to make sure then that she knew that I need to be out by 2:15. Just to make sure because traffic and stuff on Friday. That, with no worries in that area. And I did right on time, like I said. Boundaries prevent bitterness at work too. Because when people realize they can't overstep, then they're a lot more likely to respect your boundaries and to respect you. Once you let people overstep their boundaries, you enable them to continue treating you different ways that are not ways that you're comfortable with, not ways that are appropriate in any type of friendship or relationship. When you allow people to continuously do this, they lose respect for you. They even form resentments to you, which is weird. But if you somebody, they can let them get away with everything. They can absolutely form a resentment against you. Now, also, the bitterness that you'll feel because they're pushing you around or they're this and that. I do what I need to do, but they just keep on and on. It can cause some bitterness and some resentment. And some of you probably heard the saying, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I know that sounds like a bad take. I thought about it when I was saying it. Then expecting the other drinking poison and expecting somebody to die. How about drinking it and expecting the other person to poop? How about we say it like that? I like that one better. I ain't expecting anybody to die. I ain't drinking no poison or trying to. It makes it sound like I'm trying to give somebody some poison, but it will eat at you. These resentments will eat at you, and they will affect your mentality towards other coworkers. It'll affect your ability to form relationships, even if it's just a coworker relationship. And your outside interpersonal relationships. It's going to affect that too. So don't enable them. Set your boundaries at work. Set boundaries at work. Set boundaries at work. Set boundaries at work. Set boundaries at work. Okay, got that little jingle in your head now? So think about it today. Okay, yesterday we talked about boundaries. Fixing the circle, what is completely important, what is untouchable goes in the main middle circle. The next circle on the outside is what is negotiable, what is flexible. And then outside of those circles, you just really don't care. So think about what's inside that main circle, your untouchable circle, and then your flexible circle. People, feelings, mental things, mental health, whatever's in those things. Think about those and make sure they are protected, even when you're at work. All right. I hope everyone does have an amazing day. I hope everyone does set boundaries at work. Set the head. Get the tune in your head. Every day, tell other people set boundaries at work. Set boundaries at work. Think about what your boundaries are and keep going. Get this party started. All right. Have a wonderful day.